just met Frank down in the men's room. I said we have to stop meeting like this. But first of all, I really want to thank you for helping me getting to Dallas. For me, it was the number one on my bucket list. And it may sound glamorous to go to conferences and so on, but most of the time, flights are paid for and the accommodation. And then maybe, like in Dallas, it was $100, so there was just no way I could do it. So thanks to you and other people, I made it, and for me, absolutely mind-blowing. It was a fantastic experience. For me to meet people like Judy, I mean, you met Judith here, the lover of Lee Oswald, and also who was involved in the creation of a bioweapon against Fidel Castro, but also to meet like people like Beverly Oliver, the babushka lady, or Jim Morris was there. I mean, for me, absolutely amazing. Plus, I had the possibility to go to Dealey Plaza. I checked out all the angles. I was at the different positions of the different shooters, measuring. I mean, I was like this, checking angles, making my sweetheart totally embarrassed. I said, this is my time, please back off, and I will join you in like 15 minutes. Until then, I will keep crawling around. And I found safe houses, it was just incredible. I went to the Cabana Hotel, which is, that is where a lot of the people met the evening before, owned by Doris Day. And where some of the shooters, some of these teams met up, and before the whole thing, since then they turned it into a prison, and now it's just abandoned. I went to the Lamplighter Hotel where James Fowles checked in the night before the shooting, came right after, and for me, absolutely amazing. I went to the boarding house where Lee lived or stayed at the time, where there's actually a safe house behind it. It's a CIA safe house. And did you know that in that room on 1026, I think it is, North Beckley Road, if I remember right, there's actually 18 rooms in that villa, because there's one floor underneath, a basement that I had no idea about. And the woman who's now taking care of it, she was a child when all this happened, so it was her grandmother who was renting it. And when she was talking about it, she had no idea what she was saying, really, because it was just amazing. Anyway, so Frank, is my PowerPoint on here? It would be easier for me if it was. And thank you so much for coming here. I must say, my God, look, it's almost filled. I thought I'm going to be on first. There's going to be like 3 people in the front row yawning. And here you are, and so am I. So, can we have a little bit of... Well, in the meantime, how are you? You okay? I'm going to go through my presentation. What I'm going to do first is, as you know, I'm going to take you on a tour of terror. It's going to be horrifying. Lots of blood, guts, horrific scenes, or not. And take you through this last year. I mean, the thing is, I was invited here the first time because of false flags. So both Frank and I thought, no, it's out there, thank you so much, and that will be it. Not. And then second year, once again. Third year, how many times have I been here? Too many.
Too many.
Too many, I know.
As we, I will just be sure. You know, we promised Ole that if the terror attacks continued, we will invite you again. So I hope this is the last year.
So do I.
Yeah.
But next time, next time it's a party, okay? We're gonna end this, transcend it, and boom, time for a party, a cold beer. And so the title of the topic, terror! Are you kidding me? So, have you plugged in this as well? You have indeed. First of all, I just want to say, Jim Morris, he left us this year. I mean, what a guy, what a man, what a man. And when we came to Dallas, we were being, there were these name tags put on the table, so we had a chair each sitting along the wall like that. And I was like, oh my God, who's going to be there? Oh, Jim Morris! I was like, Jim Morris. That is just, that alone would have done the whole trip for me. So it was amazing to meet him, and beautiful guy, so much fun, well, I absolutely loved the guy, and what a mind, my God, so sharp. And then he goes and dies on us. Well, time was up, but I dedicate this talk to him. And by the way, if you didn't get the message from Frank, anyone listening or watching this on YouTube, you will be met by this. This video has been removed for violating YouTube's policy on harassment and bullying. So, sorry about that, who's ever watching up until now. Maybe the next year. This is the thing. I mean, we're being hit bad at the time, or being tested in a brutal way, because they are just shutting down websites and YouTube channels all over the place. Not me so much. But what they've done with me, instead of they've been messing around with the website, changing donation buttons, changing everything, it's just a mess of it, and you don't even notice. It's just like, I don't know how they do it. So we have to be constantly sort of checking the codes. Why is it not working? Why is it? So what Frank said, anyone who would like to support what I'm doing, so extremely appreciated, because it's not easy to both have a family and try to do these type of things. Anyway, so let's get going. A world filled with terror. I hope you know that is what we're living in, or not. So, I'm going to do terror templates for dummies. No disrespect, I include myself, but I'm just going to go through how they do it, how they play us, the ingredients, what is really important to see, the secret communication system they have to update their members all over the world. When I say they, I'm going to go back into who they are, but sort of how they do it without having any paper trail, without any mass communication, all of these things that could be tracked. So they do it very simple, and it's just for us to understand how they do it. And then my intention is, by showing the ingredients, how they make the terror pie. Once you start knowing how it's done, I can smell it. Then you start seeing, whoop, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. And my intention is to break the spell of fear. It is through fear that they control us. So I would very much like the next time they do one of these things, that people just start laughing, and saying, listen, absolutely, this is what you're going to get from me, and I'm now going to go and enjoy myself, love my neighbor, love myself, and just spread beauty in the world, not buy into this crap. That's my intention. So, how are they doing it to us? That's the big question. And this one is a really good example. This was like a PR stunt by a TV channel. But what they did was they put in different countries, they put what they call the red button, just this type of thing, on a square in the middle of a town, put cameras around it, and then they were just waiting. There was a big arrow saying, press the button, and let's see what happened. And then please understand, if this had not been a TV stunt for commercial or whatever, what would the people there have said? How would they have reacted, and so on? The button. So how could they pull a thing like that off in the center of a city? They would never be. Or this was right in the center of a city. Had it not been for this one, what would people have said? Well, there was this naked woman driving around on a motorbike, and there were terrorists shooting, there were police, there were ambulances, everything. Oh, it's a terror attack, without the lady on the motorbike. But how can they do it right in the center of a city? How can they do it in Stockholm? How can they do it in Berlin? How can they do it? This is how it's done. So I just show you this is how they do it, and then it's up for us to understand the ingredients of terror. So, what are they aiming at? First of all, there are different types of targets. Nowadays, they're aiming at either targets that have a national identity. It needs to hit emotionally, and it needs to reach as many people in as many nations as possible. That's the idea. It's problem, reaction, solution. They secretly create a problem to get the emotional reaction. So we don't use the brain, we just go, oh my God, help us, and then boom, they will serve us the solution. So their targets every single time is something of a national identity, an icon, also touristic value. Every single time. Or here we have the latest one in Barcelona. I mean, it started at the Plaza Catalunya, the most important square in Barcelona, the point in Barcelona that is central for the liberation of Catalonia. That is why they hit that place recently. And that's where the van is said to have started, and it ended parked right on top of Juan Miró's ceramic artwork that is also super, super famous for Barcelona. And in the middle of it all, La Rambla, the most famous touristic street in Barcelona. I'm just showing this is the type of targets they're using. Or it's some kind of center when it comes to transportation. It is like train stations, airports, bus stations, communication centers, or vehicles of transportation. It would be trains, planes, ferries, cars, rental cars, vans, trucks, these types of things. I'm going to come back to why. So it's either a target that is iconic, that is important for that country, and they're running out of targets, by the way. So they've used all of them, so they don't know what to do now. So now they've started changing into arenas that have the same power of emotional impact. So it's football teams or rock concerts, pop concerts. These are the ones that they're aiming at. And so, like a concert, Ariana Grande, how can they control? I mean, like there were 21,000 people there. That would be the worst place ever to do a thing like this. Yeah, if it was filled with 21,000 fans, did you see them? I think not. So how can they do a thing like that? Well, the thing is, for instance, in Manchester, what I suggest they do, they control the company that is there with selling the tickets and the security. The company was called Showtech. So what you do, I speculate, but this is what I think they do. Nowadays, most tickets are sold online. So what you do is you say, Ariana Grande, we will release the tickets at 12 o'clock. And at 12 o'clock, you block the lines. Engaged. So everybody who's there, I want to go and see Ariana Grande. Oh, it's occupied, it's busy, the signal is busy. After 2 hours, you say, sold out, sorry about that. So everybody thinks, well, I tried, but it was sold out. And then we're being told there was 21,000 people there. I would suggest it was totally empty. You check the parking lots in the area, you check the footage of when people are rushing out. There are just a few videos about with any kind of movement, any kind that directly connects it to that concert and so on. So I think that is one way they do it. So just because they say it was sold out and so on, don't buy it. At least check it out. And nowadays also you will see that many of these artists have the same managers. One of them, Ariana Grande's manager, what's his name? Booster, Scooter. Anyway, he had a private meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu 2 weeks before this concert. Go figure. And many of them have sold their souls for success really, really bad when you see in the behind the scenes of these type of things. Listen to Mark Devlin. He's one guy that is really focused on exposing these type of things. So, the ingredients. The drill, always there. The drill, when it comes to terror, is there for them to be able to get vehicles in positions, crisis actors in positions, marketing agencies, directors, catering, makeup, all of that in position so they can close off the area. They put it out there saying, tomorrow we're going to have a security drill at Nørreport Station, would be one of them, where for your security, of course, and they're going to put a nice pretty face in a uniform saying, but what they're doing, if they're up to something bad, it's not all the time that they are. Sometimes these security drills are there for our protection. Many times it's foul play. You know, here we have Stockholm. The thing was, I really believe that the attack was aimed at Copenhagen. I went out big time warning about, I had incredible people here on location because I'm in Spain. They were here with cameras, they were checking the bus lines, they were checking everything because it seemed like the target was going to be these new towers right opposite Tivoli on the 9th of April. I've done many interviews about it so you can find out why. But instead, when we started pointing that out massively, I was on 24/7, I was on the internet with people on location, updating us and directing people to try and avoid this whole thing. And then boom, instead it happened in Stockholm. Anyway, but here also they had these security drills. There were several drills in Sweden with the exact same theme that then happened. Police, military, hospitals, you name it, fires, all of them were including the media. So what you need is, you need to control all parameters of that area. So how do they do it? It's identical to a film set. So the thing is, it's identical to if they were going to do a film shoot for Coca-Cola. Here the product is terror. And they don't care about the people on location. I mean, there's so few. Should there be a bomb that went off outside here, how many people would see it, even if we were in here? How many would be? But all of us would be affected, and then it would be Copenhagen, and then it would be Denmark, and then it would be the rest of the world. They aim at getting out through media that they control to a large extent. So the whole thing is set to get the outlet through media. And it's at these drills also that a lot of the footage that is used as live footage is not. It was done during the drill. The drill is like a rehearsal thing. So they take these high quality photos, they do a lot of the filming, and then boom, now it happens. No, it didn't. This is from yesterday. You will see people like Nick Collerstrom, just so you know it, he's here among you. He's one hell of a guy when it comes to exposing these things. I'm going to tell you about him and Scotland Yard afterwards, because that is one of my favorite. And so the thing is, what they do is they pump out and say, now this has happened in central Copenhagen, and they start with a film, maybe footage that is from right now, and then they mix it with the prepared footage from the drill, and mix the two of them so that you think, oh, it's live footage, but check out the angles of the shadows, check out the skies. I mean, suddenly you have a massive, big, beautiful cloud in one of this footage, then you have the next cut. Where's the cloud? It's gone. Yeah, because it was not filmed at the same day, and so on. They're playing with our minds. That's the whole thing. So, one thing you need to become aware of are the vehicles. How did they close off the area? How do they control the area without us not understanding? And one of the things are grip trucks that are needed. Just like at film sets, they're so-called grip trucks. They're normally white, and inside them, they have all type of film equipment, lighting, pyrotechnics, explosives, you name it, whatever is needed, even makeup, wardrobe inside these. So how do you see that they're there? Well, you have to become aware of them. There's one. This is at the Westminster Bridge. You see it's inside the closed up. What is that van doing there? You have the Woolwich beheading, that one inside the whole thing closed off. That truck is still there. They used this to close off one of the streets, but it's also there. So these trucks will be there on location, bringing the stuff there, so that they have, all of the, also including dummies, dead bodies, whatever that is needed inside these trucks. They just open, throw it out, close the truck. Crime, my God, look at this. Everything's filmed, and then thank you and goodbye. Put it back in the trucks, get rid of all the evidence, and move it out. That's how it's done. So grip trucks, good idea to be aware of. Also pyrotechnics. You have exactly the same as at a film shoot. If it's needed, these are the guys that will do it. Then you need a terrorist, you need a boogeyman. And the trend of the terrorist nowadays is the Muslim terrorist. Allah Akbar! Why? Because they look like this. You have a variation. Should we put a beard on or not? I would say put a beard on. Dark eyes, their names are always Allah Akbar, something like that. If it's a one-time occasion, because that should be scary. So if it's just a one thing, go, boom, their name will be something like that. And something like that. If they want you to a repeated thing, they need it to be an easy catch. So it will be Jihadi Johnny. I mean, let's go from to Jihadi Johnny, or Jihadi Jane, or the Ebola. It needs to be catchy slogans. This is the thing. So be aware of the names. Sika, 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 Sika. So you will remember it. So you can tell your neighbor that is something to be afraid of. If you say, well, put a bomb over there, maybe he will do it again. You said, who did it? He would not be able to repeat it. So there's this thing. Okay, so I would also suggest, if you were a Muslim terrorist and you woke up for breakfast and had cereals, and then you put together a bomb, which you do every single day when you're a Muslim terrorist, and you were going to do it, you're going to blow yourself up, and you were going to do it at an airport. Have you seen how Muslim people are being treated at airports because of crap like this? Horrific. So would you look like this if you went to the airport with a bomb? I would say, get rid of the beard. Color the hair. Put lenses in. Look like me. You would go in, you would go out. Nobody would notice, because I am fortunate in this lifetime to have this skin color, this eye color, and a passport that allows me to move in the world. Could be easily changed. We're in challenging times. But here we're told, no, this is the way. And they had like 2 big bags of bombs and a flag of ISIS in the cab. They couldn't even fit in the bags because there were too many bombs. And then they went into the airport, making sure that they were filmed on the CCTV footage, not being stopped. They were not harassed. These guys with the bombs. Then the bombs went off in totally the wrong directions and in the wrong locations and so on. But these were the ones that did it. And by the way, this is Al-Qaim's brother, and this is his cousin. So they're definitely connected. And never forget the passport. If you're a terrorist, don't forget the passport. Do you recognize this picture? This was the picture that, in the eye of the public, totally set up Lee Harvey Oswald. Because, of course, as all assassins, you take a photo with a gun and a paper with today's date so that you can make sure it was taken today. Look at the photos, look at that, and I am the one going. So here we have the modern version. This is the Bataclan one. I mean, he is a real thing because he's got a beard on. And the ISIS flag and the Quran. All Muslims have the Quran and have to show it at all times, if you didn't know. So they will leave it in the car together with a VHS cassette on how to fly a Boeing 707 or whatever is needed. I mean, when you think of it, they don't have a lot of respect for the level of intelligence we have, because Anyway, crisis actors. So, more and more companies are specializing, making a fortune. Even Sweden have their own crisis actors. And crisis actors, if you don't know, they are awful actors because all the good ones are already taken. They suck. They are so not good at it. I'm going to show you some recent examples here. And also they're very good at having ketchup on themselves, playing dead, or well, whatever. They don't need to do a lot. You also have companies that are specializing now in dead bodies, dummies, dapper cadavers. Very good. They're very, very good looking nowadays. They even have dead bodies that you can operate on with body fluids, beating hearts. They have robots. I've seen NATO now in this beautiful time of NATO exercises. And by the way, Denmark, get out. Come on, really. Get out. What is that? This is an organization of pure terror. It really upsets me that this beautiful country is involved in pure rape and plunder of other nations. I mean, not okay. Anyway, so they have these things, and they even have robots where you can see on YouTube, they've got different things with helicopters. They put in these blown up bodies, but they're robots, and the body limbs are going like this, and they're trying to hold it down. Robots, so they even have robots nowadays when it comes to it. And then, of course, action amps. That's amputee specialist people with blown off limbs or that are missing from car accidents or whatever. They are excellent for these type of things because you can put things on them that looks really gross, or you can break things or look breaking or blown off or something like that. They're just amputees from, and so on. So there are special companies also only for that. So here, just because you want some recent thing, I will now introduce you to an awful crisis actor. She was just a day or so ago, there was a shooting in the US. What I'd normally do is I turn down the volume and just look at their face. Look at her. She has just had her best friend massacred in front of her eyes. I mean, poor girl. Can you see there's something wrong here? Would she get an Oscar? I think not. And she keeps looking at someone here that is directing her. This is the thing also. So this is a typical crisis actor. And here they also use the same. She's one of my favorites. She lives in Sandy Hook. Last year she was arranging some poetry competitions. You can rent her. She plays the saxophone. They're not hiding. These people, it's in your face. And she's been at least 5 different individuals. And here, one of the dads from the Sandy Hook shooting, he was also in the SWAT team, walking around with a gun held upside down. I mean, these people do not know what they're doing. But they do appear on Oprah, they do appear together with Obama and so on. And you would think like people who are in power positions like Obama or whoever it is would have advisors that would be a lot better than me saying, don't buy that crap because that is fake. So why are they supporting it? You have to ask yourself, why are they backing it up? Because they're in it together. Here, oh no. Different names, how strange is that? And she was killed first, and then that was in Sandy Hook, one of the teachers or headmaster, whatever she was killed there, and then she was in the Boston bombing. But there, she was only wounded there, thank God. Here we have in Brussels, look at this. I've been more or less on location on all of these places with an undercover photographer. Look at this woman here making a phone call. I've been sitting here, and this woman, I know that there's some not super, but I tell you, when you make facial recognition thing, it's a match. And she's one of the women, or she was one of the people filming what happened in Stockholm. I'm going to come back to these things because they just play them around. So here, do is what we're watching. Phony fake shows starring trucks, cars, guns, fake blood, moulage, and actors. written by liars, directed by passed off as real events, and so on. Excellent description. And do you remember these two, my all-time favorites from I've showed it several times, so I'm just going to point out, I mean, that looks really awful. But the thing is, how do they do it, and what is needed for these things? One of the things they need is a headquarters, somewhere they can direct these operations from. And here you see, these are the two from Oslo. Here's the government building. Please notice that door. This is where they came out, and then they walked like this after the explosion. But on that side, on the back of this building, I've been there, on the other, there's an exit on that side. And where does that exit go? It goes to the public library. Okay, because what they need are big open spaces. They need access to toilets, catering. It needs to be warm, cozy, because these things take time. Just like a film shoot, they take time. They need to be able to prepare without us seeing what's going on. So big open spaces closed in. So this is Oslo. Then we have, this is Boylan Street 666 in Boston, where the bombs went off. And if you stand there, and by the way, they were shouting out, "This is a drill, this is a drill." The Boston Globe went out 5 minutes before saying there's going to be a bomb exercise going off exactly there. This is also where all the seed stands and all of these things for where the finishing line were. So all of this were covered. And right opposite is the public library. I mean, how stupid are the Americans to buy a thing like that? Well then, does this look familiar to this? This is the synagogue here in Crystal Street in Denmark, where one of the shootings was. If you stand there and you turn 180 degrees, what are you looking at? The public library. Welcome to the club of the asleep. So either they use libraries or parking garages. They need the vehicles to be in position, and they need them to be hidden. So here we have the Charlottesville. This is where the whole thing happened. What is right across there? You got like a massive big parking garage, several different levels, and the exit comes out right into the intersection. And this is also where a lot of the footage is taken. Check out the angles when you see photos and film being taken. Who was there with a camera totally set so that, bam, when the impact was there, they took the photo? You have to be prepared. So how did they know? Because they were in on it. Where were they? They were there. They were standing here taking the photos. Check out the angles. Here, Brussels Airport, you see people running here. Oh my God, it's so dramatic. Where is it filmed from? The parking garage. Who was filming it? Israelis. The Israeli part will be very dominant in these operations, especially in Europe. And here, the metro in Brussels, which is close to the NATO headquarters, where Mossad, by the way, have an office of their own now. Here you have the metro where the whole thing happened. And here you have the parking garage. How convenient is that? Because in that you can do all the preparation. You throw out a smoke bomb, okay, boom, and action. You get them out there within minutes. It looks like absolute mayhem. So it's like libraries, parking garage, or theaters. Why theaters? Because they've got everything. They've got makeup facilities, special rooms, everything that is needed for a theater play. So here we have Charlie Hebdo, the office is over there. So what is that? And when you look at these, what they try to do is they often take areas that are easily controlled. So it will be a small little street. It's a lot smaller in real life than you think when you see it on video. Every time I go to a place like that, it's like, oh my God, it's only from here to there. But that's how they do it. Back streets, narrow streets. So how do they do it? Because they need to get their vehicles in position. They need areas to prepare on. So here, very small little street, in the back street in Paris here, Charlie Hebdo, the office that just moved there. Nick is one of the people who found out that they had moved it around like that. So here is the only place where you can have vehicles. Well, what's there? Well, it's the theater, Comédie Bastille. How convenient is that? And then on the day of the thing happened, can you see? All of them here. It's just like 50 meters from where this massacre took place. This is taken while the whole thing with the drama was still going on. And here they are having coffee, chatting, preparing. So we go back to Charlottesville. Here is where the car was filmed. Here is where the attack happened. It came from this direction. And what are we having right here? The Live Arts Theatre in Charlottesville. Here is where the truck stopped in Barcelona, right on top of this artwork I showed you before. And right across the street, what are we there? Well, it's just the biggest theatre in Barcelona. We have the Bataclan. What is that? It's a theatre with all of the things needed. And what have we got in Denmark? We've got a theatre with all of the things needed. Now, how do they do it? Check out the vehicles. The vehicles are crucial in these things. So in Stockholm, for instance, how could they do it middle of the day, a Friday afternoon, massive traffic, thousands of people? How do they do it? The way they do it is they use public transport. They use buses, specifically buses, to close off areas. So you're there in a car, and there's a bus in front of you, the bus stops. Can you see what's on the other side? You cannot. But that bus blocks you so that you have a queue, a line. There's a helicopter above, at least one, who are coordinating the whole thing. So it's like, okay, bus 2, block now, block. Then you got road block, also road work, and these type of things are also in place to block the whole thing up. So here, this is where the truck crashed into the supermarket, or this this Åhléns. So this bus is there just blocking the view from us to see what's going on. And here, the crash was here, but can you see the bus there is blocking, and you've got a whole long line of vehicles behind it, blocking, but people are not understanding I'm being blocked. It's just a traffic queue. So we move on. I mean, was that only in Stockholm? Well, here you got Times Square. That's where the car is. You got this big white bus. Here in Berlin, big yellow bus that was there when it happened, helping to block, also bringing crisis actors. That's also how they do it. They use these buses to bring them on location and take them out. Here's another one from New York. Blocking. And we're just seeing, oh, it's just a bus. I don't even see it because I'm trying to see what's behind it. So here, the Westminster Bridge attack. Have you known, what does this look like? Is this a bus park? No. Is this just a randomly parked buses? Or is it a total block of the whole area? Can you see? Does that look natural to you? And also, I've spoken to people who have been in the police force for many, many years. They say if something happens, accident, terror attack, whatever it is, one of the things in the center of the city, get the traffic going, move it out. Here we see the exact opposite, boom, blocked off. And so they're doing the exact same thing. Here on the street, of the Westminster Bridge, what is there? Bus. All of them. Why are there not like hundreds of cell phone videos, mobile phone videos? There should have been hundreds of passengers on these buses. Where are they? All of them were empty because it's just props. But it looks very dramatic. Here we have the London Bridge attack, not the same attack. What is that bus doing there? It's just blocking the whole thing, and I'm going to show you what happened here behind that bus a little later. And here we have the Woolwich beheading, where they used 2 buses to block that street. That one was blocked there, so the traffic was blocked out, and then they had the grip truck there blocking that street. Block. And we don't even see it happen. Then you have the ambulances. I mean, because they're there to save lives. So this is in Oslo. I mean, this is normally the way you park ambulances. Or you got the Westminster Bridge. Is this, I mean, we have an ambulance driver here, Mass. Is this the way you normally park? Would you not get your ass fired if you parked your car like that? Because what they do is they totally block these vehicles to get out. And by the way, where was the hospital? I mean, it must have been way down the road because of all of these ambulances there. The hospital is there. And the Marriott Hotel, do you remember the Bilderberg meeting here? And that was here at the Marriott Hotel, where the Bilderberg meeting group met? Or Chantilly, Virginia, where they met 4 times now, which is just a stone throw away from Charlottesville, by the way, and the headquarters of CIA in Langley, and the White House. Marriott Hotel, same home. So here hospital, here Marriott Hotel. So where did they carry all the dead and wounded? I would suggest here, no, they went that way. All of them, including people that were there helping, went in here where the police or people in uniform were kind enough to hold up the plastic cordoned off area. Please enter, because that was the headquarters of that operation. Where was a lot of the filming done from? The Marriott Hotel. So they love the dates and numerology because they're into bizarre things. And the 22nd is a date they just love. There's so many of them. I can make this list so long. And also what they do is on the anniversary of what happened the year before or the year before. So you have to be aware of, oops, we're coming up to a new date, and are there signs there? I want to point out today also, what is the date today? It's the 16th of September. There's been a lot pointing towards Holland, the Netherlands, in these hidden clues and so on. And there's a massive big marathon in Holland called Dam to Dam. There's been a lot of strange things about the Red Cross and false flag preparations or crisis preparations and so on. There's also a marathon here tomorrow as well that could be coordinated, because I'm going to show you that they're aiming at coordinating attacks at the same time in different countries, even different continents at the same time, but being carried out by the same individuals. So I told you it's going to be gruesome. So prepare yourself. Now this happened yesterday. Whoa. And the bomb was actually filmed. Okay, are you prepared? Hold your eyes. Anyone under 18, please close your eyes. Here we go. That is the bomb.
Oh, is that bag's on fire? Guys, let's get away and let's move on.
That is the bomb they claimed have injured 22. Please remember the numbers. It's 22, it's 33, it's 19 or 1 dead, so it's 199. Or they keep doing these numbers. So was that terrifying or what? Okay, so here is the bomb. 22 wounded. Where were they? They must all have been sitting on top of it. And I mean, you saw the power of the explosion. You can see everything is just destroyed around it. I mean, normally you have boom, you have this, the epicenter is in the middle and everything is blown out. So you can see the incredible impact here. And it's also, maybe that's what saved them, because it's in a Lidl freezing bag. I'm going to come back to different types of product placement, how they make commercials out of it as well. Because lately, these big supermarkets like Carrefour, Orleans, Lidl have started appearing as well. And here is one of the victims from yesterday. She's being escorted by police in front of the press. I mean, has she got like a bad tooth? Doesn't it look like one of these from the 1820s? Like she had an operation on a bad... Okay, so this is what now, don't laugh, because yesterday you had military surveillance on one of the big bridges in Denmark due to this crap. Built on this crap. A new terror attack in London, my God, now we need to do. Yeah, really? Really? and military experts buying this crap in Denmark if they were not involved. We're gonna come back to NATO and these whole thing because that is where it's at. But we're the ones being played, so shame on us for even buying into it. Then also what they do is they want to go emotional, like I said. So they want to involve as many nationalities as possible. So you will have, if there's, for instance, if there's 32 injured, or 22, there will be like 11 different nationalities. Why? To get the emotional involvement. Because people care about people from their own country. It's like, if somebody's killed from Sudan, what do I care? I don't know him. But from Denmark, really? Or if you're Irish, from Ireland, oh, this is how they do it. And then they also add dual citizenship to the patsy. So now it will be he's German Afghani or French Tunisian, or now we had in Barcelona, he had a Spanish passport that he just happened to forget, but he was Moroccan, of course. So, same script. It's like, come on. Somebody said to me, I feel sorry for me every time these things happen, because it's like, again, really, again, Allah Akbar, oh my God, give me a break. But you have marketing agencies involved, because for instance, like Charlie Hebdo, Je suis Charlie, what is that? Is that the first thing that comes to mind? Somebody shot someone in Paris, Je suis Charlie. What? I am Charlie. It's a slogan. It is a slogan. And by the way, everybody went down home and printed out things on their computer saying, Je suis Charlie. Would you not, since you know the prices of ink cartridges, would you not print black on white? Would this not be quite expensive? But when you see it in the millions, where is it coming from? Who prepared it? Who was handing it out? Yeah, but the streets were filled, there were thousands. Yeah, but there were also 30,000 troops in Paris the days before, and they were on leave that day. 30,000 people in uniform, 30,000 people in civilian clothes. What do they look like? A crowd. Who's handing it out? Who was handing out the candles here in Copenhagen when it happened? Same candles being handed out in the thousands for free. Who were handing out their candles? They are part of the operation. The slogans, we're not afraid, vi er ikke bange, you should not be. It's all the time the same thing. And also what they want to do, they want to steal things from us. They want to steal these expressions. Forgiveness, love, compassion, these beautiful things that I totally stand for. They hijack them. So what they do is they blow someone up, and then they make an interview with the parents. And the parents will say, well, our son was blown to pieces yesterday, but we've decided we're going to forgive him. We're going to forgive the bad guys. We're not going to focus on hatred. What are they saying? They're saying, don't lynch us. Let go of the anger. Unity, all of these things, it's wonderful. Yeah, but it's not up to you to decide. You were the one who carried out. Let the decision be on our part. Okay, so there's all of these. And then you also have, like this is one of the guys that jumped over the car in Charlottesville. I'm going to come back to that. Right away, there were like colors, t-shirts, all of the totally manufactured. And this thing, if you're not outraged, you haven't paid attention. What is that? That is a slogan. If you're not outraged yet, you haven't paid attention. And that is said to have been Heather Heyer's last Twitter message. Just like, and then, okay, dead, let's use that one. Questions afterwards, please. So, nowadays, how do they do the marketing? Terror, but sexy. And so, we know who did it because they dropped the passport. So we don't have any kind of free thinking. It's just like boom and ding. And what they do also is like they're trying to make it sexy now. If you notice, there are more and more terrorists lying around in their underpants more and more victims showing more and more skin. I think not by coincidence. They're trying to sort of get it into. Emotional impact, how do they do it? That's how they do it. Would it work if they blew up this building? No, sorry, we're too many that are too old. Too many men, doesn't work. It's not the same impact. Blow up a tractor, no. Old cows, no. No. Old people's home, no, wouldn't work. Women and children, that's the one. Nuns, nurses, sometimes preachers. If it's a male, it would be a preacher, a vicar or something like that. So that's how they get the emotions going. And then the same crap here, you wouldn't be able to see, where is that? Is there any difference? Yeah, different countries, different continents, exactly the same theme. And what they also try to do is, in these photos, there will be multiple religious, what do you call it? There will be a Hindu, there will be a Sikh putting out flowers, there will be a Muslim, there will be a Christian, and the Pope will stand and halloum in the background. They love doing these as, I would say, as part of the whole thing, because boom, and then forgiveness. We have to stand united. That's how they play us. Once again, same players. I mean, here, this is the Swedish Prime Minister, Bilderberger. How confusing or surprising. Here he is shaking the hand of this individual, a Swedish police officer. You will see at the operation, he doesn't appear anywhere. I've checked that one out from all different angles. That guy, as far as I know, wasn't even there. But he's shaking his hand. And here he is, or I don't know, but that's at the Brussels airport in a pilot's jacket. And also they have this incredible tendency to be in more than one of these events. Do you know, like this guy, he was in Manchester, and then he just happened to be in Barcelona. Bad luck. Then you have this one, 3 ones in 3 months. That's Paris, Barcelona, and the London Bridge. Bad luck. Really, you have to say that this is not a good sort of part of the 1/4 of a year. 3 attacks, and she was at all of them. There was one guy, a mathematician, he made a calculation, I don't know how he did it, but the chances was 1 in 12.3 million. So, and then also the way they play us, because they put these clues out there. Her name is Julia Monaco. Julia Monaco. So these are the type of things that leads to the next one. So I'm just going to say, if there's going to be a hit in Monaco, this is, anyway. So she had a bad drop. And by the way, she's from Melbourne. If you notice that when the hits are in Australia, there's very specific countries where these things happen. It is Sydney or Melbourne. She was from Melbourne. And here, also using the same players, the guy in Stockholm, right after the truck attack in Stockholm, there was this ambulance driver that, since there were like 5 people injured, they said, we need to set up a headquarter here. There's not enough ambulances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can't move them to the hospital. We need to fix it from here. So they used a spa right on this pedestrian street. And the guy organizing it all, his name is Kenneth Lavrell, you know, and he said, well, there was in total 150 people involved in the accident or affected by the accident. What he actually said was there was 150 people involved in the operation. And this guy just happened to be the same ambulance driver that picked up the body of Olof Palme when he was shot, and picked up the body of Carl Fredrik Algernon, the war material inspector that was also deeply involved around the assassination of Palme. They're recycling. Using the same people. Okay, so eyewitnesses. How can someone like me say, you know, I know there were people that saw it, so how can you say that this is set up? I mean, come on. Well, I would suggest, when you look at these operations, which I've done too long, you will see that eyewitnesses that have actually seen it, because I know they've seen it because they appear in media, in international TV, newspapers, radio, they say, I saw this. Okay, so that's an eyewitness. Okay, they are either connected to media, they're some kind of journalist, radio journalist, TV, any type of media, or they have some connection to film or theater, or they have some kind of connection to the government. Can that really be true? Okay, let's see the Stockholm one. I'm going to say tick when it ticks one of these three boxes, okay? There were 24, as far as I can know, 24 witnesses in Stockholm that saw the truck hammer down these poor people, slaughtering them, killing all of these, and so on. So this guy, I say tick. Tick, 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 tick. Are you going to be expecting more ticks? Tick, 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 tick. Not all of them are Swedish. Some of them are journalists from Holland and Belgium. We're back to NATO. Tick, 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 tick. What are the chances? I mean, I found 21 out of 24 that had connections with it, and I have not been able to find out the last three ones. So, what are the chances? What are the chances if this just happened randomly, that all of these people would be connected? So, well, one of the people that were wounded was this old Romanian beggar. She was sitting in the street and she was hit by a piece of concrete when the truck hit and so on. You cannot control a street beggar. Well, I mean, they're quite happy with just a few kroner. I think if they repay them well, there is a chance that you could persuade her. So what about her? Was she connected too? Well, it just turns out that she was one of the extras at a massive big opera show in Stockholm as well. So she's also connected to theater. PSYOPs, I hope I'm not boring you. I know it's a long run, but please stay with me. So, PSYOPs, propaganda, that's something that happened in Nazi Germany, Stalin, Mao, not here. Okay, so here we have dictators. They always try to make themselves look nicer. Let's bring in some kids and so on. So here in Stockholm, that's Stockholm, this is Barcelona, I think this is Copenhagen. Look at these nice soldiers, they are taking care of little children with flowers. They are helping an old lady who cannot work on her own. It's so kind of them. Playing with our minds, what they're saying is, please welcome them. Welcome these nice guys. It's making it more and more normal for you to see people in the streets for your protection. And tanks. And by the way, please notice the number of sirens you hear in a major city nowadays. Wee, 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 wee. Wee, 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 wee. Wee, 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 wee. My God, we need protection. There's a lot of criminality going on in this city. Or they're just on their way to pick up a pizza and they put it on as part of the PSYOP. So here in Sweden, as you do, when the police did fuck all to stop this whole thing, did they save any lives in Stockholm? They did not. The truck is said to have hit all of these people and killed 4 or 5 of them. So what do? They bury the police cars in flowers. Is that a natural way to do? Who put down the first flowers? Who put the first 200 flowers on this car? No, it's spread out in international media. This is how much the Swedish police is loved. It's and also it's the colors of the Swedish flag, the car. I get really emotional. So, and in England too, thank you so much. They helped her. You know, let's give the flowers to the police who was so kind to do absolutely nothing to stop it. And here in Stockholm as well, since it was a beer truck and it was empty, even though it was on fire, but there was nothing inside it that could make smoke or flames or anything, except for a smoke bomb. Of course, when the police came to the site, they were wearing gas masks. Why? Because at that point, the whole idea was to get NATO countries involved and supporting attacks on Syria, where the gas attacks were, back to the PSYOP. What are they running around with these gas masks? There was nothing there. It's part of the photo shoot, it's part of the PSYOP. And also the numbers. In Sweden, there was the attack happened in 1453. It was almost like a mantra, 1453. Who cares? Was it 7 minutes to 3 or not, or 2 or whatever? 1453. That was the year of the Holy War and the clash between the civilizations, the big religions, you know. I think these are part of just playing it boom into our head. Boom. Boom. Without us knowing, we're just sitting there as veggies in the sofa. Oh, I had a long day. Boom. 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 Turn it off. There's this beautiful thing on the remote. It's red and it says off. That black thing is like a sewage opening into your house, into your home, and you're using it as a babysitter for your kids. I'm guilty as well sometimes. And then this thing, the new normal, this is in Barcelona, this is in Nice, this is after the Westminster Bridge. You will see these things happening all the time where normal people, hands up, and then the police are there with military. What is that? It's part of the PSYOP. Give up. Give it up. Surrender. There's no way you can do anything. Even inside there was even inside the Notre Dame church, people are sitting hands up inside the church. I mean, what is that? And then product placement. Do you know, while we're at it, when we have this terror, we got this massive audience around the world. Let's put in some product placement. Let's make an extra few billions. So, of course, we have this, what would that it was Friday afternoon, and what are you longing after a long day, a long week of work? How about cold beer, maybe? Well, there you go, boom. And the owner, high up Freemason of Spendrups. Here you have the 7/7 bombings, where this bus is said to have been blown up. What was on the side of it? You've got this massive big banner, no text, an explosion, and a Coca-Cola bottle in the middle. What is that? Product placement. You will see it again and again. Look in the center of the image. Sharp, it's always sharp, but sometimes it's sort of like, so that you think you're looking at something else, but it's there, right in the middle. And you can ask any psychologist or whatever, when it comes to marketing, when people are open emotionally, you can affect their subconscious. So that's when they hit you. And then, I must say, we have this incredible technology nowadays where laptops and cell phones can save lives. So this one was at the Bataclan outside the stadium, where this cell phone, it saved his life. There was a piece of shrapnel. He was walking down the street. Boom! Oh my God, Samsung. What would I do without it? Here, like you have, when people put off a Kalashnikov, pull up the laptop and you will be safe. And that one was in Manchester, that one was at Fort Lauderdale, and this was for the Bataclan. So it works international. Thank God for that. Then you have backup, of course, with the companies. Like I would say the next time you see ISIS, or whatever you want to call them, the boogeyman of the time, it's just an upgrade of Al-Qaeda 3.0, something like that, and sponsored by Toyota. You show me one image of ISIS and there's a vehicle in it and it's not a Toyota, I will almost cut off my arm. Sponsored by Toyota. And then you have to ask yourself, I've been suggesting this for a long time, why don't anyone contact Toyota and say, what the hell are up with you guys? If this is the biggest threat in the world at the moment, terror threat, why are you selling all of these vehicles to them? It almost feels like you're supporting them. So somebody did that. They contacted them and Toyota said, we don't know. And so they started tracking down who actually bought these Toyota, and it turned out that it was the US State Department. How confusing is that? So Leaving clues. It is very bizarre because according to insiders, I've been told that the way they interpret the law of karma is that if they tell us what they're up to and we do not react, then the bad karma is on our shoulders, not theirs. Which is a blessing in disguise, because then we understand that they will leave clues in the evidence. They are leaving clues for us to see, often right in our face. If we do not react, boom, it's up to us. So I say, let's react. Let's find these clues before. And I think I'm up to, 8 or 10 of these things that I've publicly predicted. Next target's going to be there. I even on with the date and the exact thing up to 1 month before on international radio. Not because I'm super intelligent, not just because I've started to understand this is the language they're using. I'm going to come back to more of this language. So these type of clues that they leave, this is what at the Brussels airport, where I thought, this is such, I was going through thousands, and my daughter is helping me many times going through all of these images. I just thought, this is so bizarre. Why would they paint like a horizontal Eiffel Tower at a cafe? These are the type of clues they leave. You know, the destruction. When you see where this is, if you go to the airport where I've been, this is way out. It's nowhere near where the bombs are said to have gone off, but this is what we see. And then you have what looks like white flowers, white birds, freedom, this, they're part of the psyop. So I went out and said, this one, it could be the next one. I'm just going to show a few examples. Then within 1 week, there was an ISIS video that came out with the identical thing. And then at the same time as the Nice attack on the very same evening, there was an attack on the Eiffel Tower as well, where the whole Eiffel Tower was covered in smoke and what looked like flames. Here, if you remember, I predicted the Copenhagen shooting 1 month before it happened. Thanks to people, I had people here helping me. And this was one of the things that would, right in our face, this was being spread. Israel now, Dublin next. Dublin, there was an attack, a failed attack at the power plant outside Dublin. Then Charlie Hebdo, then Denmark, and then hopefully we stopped the one that was planned in Florence, Italy. But they put it like this, right in our face. And then look at these bizarre things. This was at the Fort Lauderdale shooting. I have not done anything with this. This is from a video footage. Does that look real to you? Is that not manipulated? It's fixed with to push, point to us, see it. If we don't see it, well, it's your own fault. So this guy was interviewed. His name was Santa Paul. I kid you not. Do you know where he was from? I mean, he's presented when he's being interviewed. Santa Paul from Nome. That's, Nome, the little ferry. From Nome in Alaska. I mean, things like that just say, I'm going like, bam, 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 check him out, Santa Paul. So I was everywhere looking for Santa Paul, Minneapolis, Santa Paul, London. I couldn't find any signs. And then, boom, it happened in Melbourne. This is where the alleged car attack, where he did the donuts brum, 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 before he drove into crowds and allegedly killed people. This is where he did it, and this is St. Paul's Cathedral in Melbourne. Do you see? I didn't get that one, but that is how they point out the next ones. I did, however, point out the next one in Westminster Bridge 1 month before it happened, because this is in Melbourne. This is the car just before it starts going around. The way they leave these clues are often that the camera is filming something before something actually happens. Why are they filming it? That's where they leave the clues. When you see a camera that is just on for no apparent reason, maybe filming like this part or this part, and the camera is just standing. Why is it there? Is the cameraman drunk? No, they're putting things out there. So always look in the center of the image. What are they pointing out? And here there's a few seconds before the car starts driving around, where it's totally zoomed out. Nobody knows who's filming it. And right in the center is the Big Ben Tower. So this is where I went out on the 21st of February saying, next target, Big Ben. Then on the 22nd of March, boom, Big Ben. So it's very good to become aware of these, how they do it. So we have a problem, if you haven't noticed. There's a lot of attacks with vehicles. So that's Finland, that's in France, that's Nice, that's Barcelona, that's Stockholm, that is Times Square, that's Westminster Bridge, and that's Melbourne. Can you see there's a lot of vehicles here? So the vehicles apparently is a problem. So the solution, now they're talking about, for our protection, they're going to have energy fields in the cities that will block off so that vehicles can't enter, that will turn off the engine and stop them. What kind of energy fields are that? It's like zzz, zzz. Can I walk without? I mean, what is that? But these are the things that are being pushed in. Also bollards, they love these things that automated. This is part of a prison that is being built up around you. I've seen them here as well. They're very cute and automated, so they can look, you're free. Not really. Yes, you are. Not really. That's how they do it. And here, just to make a point, in Times Square, we put the car on top of it so that it's in all photos. And there you have them. And you even have an instructional video from the company manufacturing them, filming that exact area before the whole attack happened. So, also, so many of these vehicles are rental cars. So I've been like, rental car, rental van, rental this, rental, what is the problem? Here's the London Bridge. Here's the Finsbury Park attack. Here's Barcelona. Here's Oslo. All of them rental vans. So apparently rental vehicles is a problem. Their solution, you will see it coming now, stricter rules when it comes to rent cars and vehicles and so on. So it's like they're and we don't notice. We're just like, I don't feel well. I don't feel well, but I don't understand what's going on. This is how they do it, stepping stones. Tuk, 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 tuk. But they're speeding it up now because more and more of us are becoming aware of it. Also, the solution, driverless vehicles. This is the thing. Now more and more you will see here just within the last few weeks, and you will see it speed up like hell, where driverless vehicles, the solution. And here I thought that was really funny because Scania in Sweden, this is their test vehicles of driverless. There's no driver in these three. They're just driving around on the roads without drivers. And this is the one that was used in Berlin. I think, isn't that quite similar? And here is how it's working. And now they're all, you will see again, NATO countries, again, they're testing them, they're pushing it forward. US, Germany, and so on. And then the next step from driverless vehicles are smart cities, where everything will be digitalized, where everything will be controlled for your security. Metros where there will be without drivers. Couldn't happen here in Copenhagen, could it? Yeah, it's already here. Welcome to Blade Runner. All of it will be smart, 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 smart. And just because it's smart, notice how they use these words. Every time you hear smart, smart for them. Turn it around because it's not smart for us. It will be everything from your fridge to your toilet to your bathroom to your... Everything will be smart and reading and controlling you so that they will know everything, including where you throw the garbage. That reads your mobile cell phone. It's like unreal. Not a good future. So please bear with me. Maybe we should jump a little and shake a little. Do you want to do that? Hug your neighbor. Just stand up and get a little. I'm not going to be that long. I know it's a lot. Enough relaxation. So, can you handle a little more? Thank you. Okay. So, if you were in part of a secret small little group called the New World Order, and you were very aware that people were becoming more and more awake of what was going on, would you not try to hide communication? Would you not try to avoid emails? I mean, Pizzagate, Hillary, these type of things. Not the most clever way to communicate with each other. So how would you do it? If you got like a few thousand members, how can you do it? There are secret ways of doing it. And I believe that I found some of them. One of them, shoes. What is that? If you have looked at all, I don't know how many alleged terror attacks I've been looking into, I've kept bumping into shoes. I mean, like shoes, they're just lying all over the place. Shoes, train, and also like there's a mass shooting or something like that. Somebody's coming with a Kalashnikov, okay? The natural way, if you didn't know it, is somebody comes to you, at you with a machine gun. Leave it. Sometimes you even do like this. And then you start running because now I'm very scared. What are these shoes doing there? Here's in Turkey, here, London Bridge. Can you see one shoe right in the center of the image? This is after I started pointing out the shoes. They cut it down to now it's only one little shoe. From before, there were shoes all over the place. Charlie Hebdo, let's bring out a shoe. And no, but that had nothing to do with it. Well, it did, because when this guy or woman, whoever was, ran back and jumped into the car, picked up the shoe and took off. So part of the whole thing. And then this guy is said to have tried to save the police officer in England who was stabbed. They say he was stabbed outside the parliament. So he said that he lost his shoes. And then he was invited to morning TV the next day and came without shoes. So I thought, I lost my shoes yesterday. I'm invited to morning TV. Put on some other shoes. Is that not sort of like natural? No, because the thing is, this is a Freemasonic ritual. And the way they do it in their own rituals is that when they have to go through these, if you take one shoe off and you pull off one trouser leg, that shows that this individual is doing it voluntarily. 2 shoes off shows homage to the sacred space. So what they're showing here is that our operation, they're in on it. They're doing it voluntarily. It is our operation. So anyone sitting on Bahamas in a fancy sofa like this, big cigar, part of these operations, shoe, ours. Another shoe, that victim, she's in on it, and they're paying respect, you know. This is how they do it. These shoes are super important. So let's see, can we find some more shoes? Here's the Bataclan. Look at that foot. Mr. Ambulance driver, wherever you are, is this a normal way if somebody has been shot to hold up a foot like that? You got here, Barcelona. Oh, it's so awful, it's so awful. Let's show the shoe. What is that? If not secret messages. Here is the police officer that is said to have been stabbed twice. Okay? Can you see the hallelujah? Can you see it's like a religious painting almost? Where the feet are the most, apparently they're not smelling too good either, or maybe they are. This looks like she's having a sniff. But this is, what is that? We're back to the feet. And here, I mean, this is yesterday from that incredible explosion. Do you see anything, you notice anything in particular? So keep an eye out for the shoes, I would say. Here, Charlottesville, shoes. Lots of shoes. But of course, that is just a coincidence. Check this one out. I love that. This is after the attack, and he's reversing away from this slaughter. Da, 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 da. How to leave your business card, you know? Yay, baby, we did it again. Doom. This means that they can communicate with their members without having said one word, no email, no phone calls, no nothing. We're totally asleep. They're saying, just another one. So, also, that is not the only symbols they have. Just because I've taken them up doesn't mean that I'm showing homage to them. They're also doing it very close to obelisks. They love the obelisk, which is their symbol, this Freemasonic symbol. So this is in Stockholm, that is where the crash was. This is in Barcelona, Las Ramblas is right there. I always, when I come to somewhere, where is it? I'm sort of like, there it is. There it is. It's somewhere nearby. And if there wasn't an obelisk before, within like 6 months to a year after it happened, it would be the winner of an architect competition, for the decoration of the park right next to you. No, it's there. So here, after the Barcelona thing, very discreet in Buenos Aires, they lit up this thing, an obelisk, in the colors of Spain. And we're like, oh, isn't it? It's so nice and so cute that they're taken care of. So there's also, here's the London Bridge attack. And it happened right here. Look at that building. That is it gives me the creeps, that building. Okay, so I'll show you some other ones. Olof Palme, he is said to have been shot here. This is Sveavägen. This is where the murder is taking place. This building is the Skandia Insurance Company, which used to be the headquarters for Gladio, which he was part of building up in Sweden. That was not part of NATO. I mean, go figure, how is that possible? Because Sweden has been part of NATO since 1954, but no signed papers. And now they're saying we want to join. You did that a long time ago. Anyway, so that's where he was shot. Boom, obelisk. Came up about a year after. There's 5 of these obelisks, in a very strange position there. But it's like when you stand where he was shot, you look where the killer ran, boom, you're looking straight. So you will see hundreds of tourists every day. So where did he run? They're pointing straight to the obelisk. They're pointing straight to we're back to the psyop again. And then, come back to me. Here on the inner courtyard of this building, there's a massive big glass obelisk. Pyramid, because it's obelisks and pyramids are some of these main figures. So we have Martin Luther King. He was shot at the Lorraine Motel. Turns out he did not die there. He survived the shooting. He was taken in an ambulance, directed not to the closest hospital, just like Diana, but to St. Joseph's Hospital, where a doctor, Dr. Breen Bland, who was involved in the assassination, suffocated him with a pillar. Awful, awful. So before I knew that, I was looking for an obelisk in Memphis around the Lorraine Motel, did not find it. But then when I found out that he actually died at the St. Joseph's Hotel, I checked out that area, and what do you see there? Here's the hospital where it used to be. Have you seen this discreet little building? It's only massive. Massive, in your face. Nobody understands what it's doing there. And so thanks to you, I was in Dallas. Incredible, incredible. So I was looking, obelisk. Yes, there's one obelisk, but that was there before the assassination. But I was looking, there's a lot of Freemasonic symbols in Dallas. So this is where he was shot. If you remember Dealey Plaza, it's like it's in a pyramid shape, like this. This is where he was shot. When you go to the exact point of the pyramid on the triple underpass, which is where I'm standing now, very, very symbolic for the whole thing when it comes to their way of seeing it. What do you see there? Do you see anything now? I've taken something away with Photoshop here, because when you're standing at exactly that point, this is what it looks like. Can you see that one? That's the top of the Wells Fargo building. But it's only when you are standing in exactly that angle, boom, then it appears like that. Playing with our minds. So, color code, another secret way of them telling us what they're doing, or telling themselves, informing themselves, communicating. So color codes, which is for the CIA, they've used it for many, many years. A few years ago, you had the spring, Arab Spring, the green revolutions in northern African countries, where it turned out that through Facebook, it was the CIA, Mossad, the same old suspects that were arranging these revolutions to get rid of people they couldn't control, get their own puppets in. Then it went on Orange. It went to Orange in the Ukraine. They did the same thing there. And now we're in Europe. So is there something going on here as well? And I would suggest what we're seeing NATO countries, it's all the time NATO. Please, when I say these things, think Gladio, NATO, New World Order, the US military, and these coordinated efforts in how to control the Western world. So these are NATO countries, and I would say that what we're seeing here is the Euro Spring, the same countries that it's just repeating again. I can tell you exactly where the next one, when it happens in Europe, it's going to be a terrorist attack. It's not going to be a mass shooting because we don't have the weapons, so it's not a problem. Mass shootings, that's for the US. So you have problem, reaction, solution. Here we can't get revolutions going either because we're too well off, we're too well fed, so it doesn't work here. Terror is the way to go in these countries. So what they do, they just revolve it again and again and again. Same theme, same actors, same everything, same police districts, same everything. Recycling the whole thing. And the countries in Europe is Denmark, I'm very sorry to say that. Denmark, now Sweden, Germany, France, Spain to a certain extent, Turkey, let me see, Holland, Belgium. These are normally the ones. And it just goes around and around. Even the same police district where they are the ones controlling. And I tell you, I can guarantee you that the police chiefs in these areas, Freemasons. Guarantee. So, and the color code here in Europe is this magenta towards purple. You will see that these colors, even that was like the knife of the bridge attack, even the knives, the balloons, the funerals, the dress code is this magenta, the color of the shoes, even in the news feeds that they control, you will see the background color, that color. There will be things like, it's on so many different levels because it's a psyop on how to control you. And one of the ways that they do it, I was like, thank you. Apparently I'm part of it. But this is thank you so much. This is exactly how it's done. So that will send out the message to their member without anyone understanding, this is ours as well. So it will be anything from like, I saw in Sweden, new medical science have shown that long distance running will add to excess fat. What? Yeah, and all of the people jogging are having that color t-shirt on it. So you see, that's how they do it. So everything that is theirs, they have this color code. So now when you start understanding what this color code, you will be some of the people that are in the group that will be able to spot these things. So please also, when you see these things, send them to me. I ask you, help me. So I just want to also point out this whole thing with the historical dates. There's been a lot of things connected to the end of the Second World War. A lot of these dates being repeated. But also with the Russian Revolution, where it was the same New World Order type of power constellation that were behind. It's called the Russian Revolution. It was not. It was an overtake of that country as well. And that was exactly 100 years ago. Exactly. And the whole revolution started. There was a ship called Aurora that fired a shot. Boom, let's go. And now, exactly now, and Denmark is involved in this whole NATO exercise called Aurora being played out in Sweden. Be aware of it. They are really moving forward here. Aurora, that's the ship that fired the shot. So in the States, the color is slightly different. It is purple. It is a deep, deep purple. Deep purple. I didn't think of that. You will see here, purple, 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 purple. That is in England, but it's the same color. You will see at the funerals, the t-shirts, the background, that's the mother. By the way, she has this crisis actor has been at least 4 different characters. She's being highly used because she's good at crying as well. That's always good. And then it's called the George Soros Purple Revolution. It has been, George Soros is very instrumental in the whole financing of this whole thing. So purple and also towards this pinkish. You can see also here, the mass invasion of all of these refugees. I would say if it's a problem with these refugees, stop bombing their countries. Maybe they would stay at home. Okay, so you will see, can you see same color code being used here? Immigration, I don't even know the difference here, but the same color codes here also, showing the people who are in the group that, boom, that's the way. So I'm going to identify some of the players in this whole thing. The Bilderberg group, you know them. I mean, part of the shadow world government. Anyone in Denmark who is part of a Bilderberg group, I mean, put them up against the wall and start asking questions, saying, listen, really, you stop messing with these individuals. This is not okay. You are elected by us, the people. So I ask you, take your Bilderbergers and start asking very serious questions, because they're totally not trustworthy. Same for all other countries. Here, the usual suspects, that's the tool on the street level that are carrying these things out. Mossad, I mean, I loved it, Nick, the way you said he wrote on his book. He's recently released a really good new book about the false flags coming up. But there's so many new ones that even though he's been so on it, it's really almost out of date because there's been so many new ones. I'm sorry, Nick. But he wrote on it, to study terrorism without studying Mossad is like watching Hamlet without the prince. I think that is an excellent way of putting it. So, some wild speculation. Do you recognize these 2 guys? This is actually where the so-called bomb at the Boston bombing was. They were working for Kraft International. And then here is one of the guys, and here is the other guy. These 2 at the Boston, this is Kraft from their own website. But then, when you have the London Bridge attack, I would suggest, I mean, look at that. Can you at least get the same color, beard and hair, and Coca-Cola cans around the beard? I mean, anyway, so do you remember the bus that was standing like this across the street? I'm saying what is going on behind it. I was going to show you. This is at the London Bridge attack. And I would humbly suggest what we're seeing is the same group, like a theater group on global tour, that are just like a rock band around and around performing the exact same concert. Here is the same terror group. Crisis actors, managers, all of it the same. So here, behind that bus that was parked like this is what was going on. Somebody filmed it by accident or didn't really know what they were filming. Even better if it works. So these people were in police uniforms. And what are they doing? This is exactly the outfit of the terrorist that were then shot a few minutes later. And the bus was standing over here across the street so that you could not see this happening. This is somebody filming in quite a long distance away to film it. Can you see? The exact same outfit as the terrorist. So I would like to point out, have you seen the suspenders? What color are they? Is that just a coincidence, or is it not? Or is it part of this secret? I would suggest this is how they communicate. This guy is actually, his name is Soames, he's actually the grandson of Winston Churchill, of all people. So anyway, there's a few companies I want to point out that I would say is highly suspect in my world. And one of them is called Circle.
This is the Serco Group. They run all 7 immigration detention centres in Australia. But they do lots more. In fact, they're probably the biggest company you've never heard of. Governments all around the world outsource to Serco. They run half of London's traffic lights, all of Dublin's, and in Ontario, Canada, they test you for your driver's licence. Serco are also the largest air traffic controllers in the world. They've got 54 towers in the US and they control Baghdad's air traffic. They even maintain the RAF squadron the Queen flies on. All over the planet, Serco are moving people, from metros in Dubai to buses in Adelaide. And they're good at stopping people from moving too. Serco will soon be the largest operator of private prisons in the UK, and they're very efficient at it. In one prison, they increase capacity by 20% simply by putting beds in the toilets. In another Serco prison, a 14-year-old hanged himself after being assaulted by Serco guards, the UK's youngest ever death in custody. But don't think Serco aren't good with kids. In Bradford, they run all the state schools in the district. Serco is the model of a modern multinational, and that's why they're the right company to keep us safe. They've been running the UK's ballistic missile defence system ever since it was outsourced 40 years ago. In fact, they look after Britain's entire nuclear arsenal, from creation to decommissioning. But wait, there's more. Serco are so good at running things, they even run time itself. That's right, Serco have the contract for setting Greenwich Mean Time. And Serco just keep getting bigger. Since 1994, they've grown by 1,200%. How have they been so successful? CEO Chris Hyman puts his success with Serco down to listening to God. Now, you might think things like nuclear arsenals and border protection are best handled by the government, but that's not a problem for Serco because about 85% of their workforce are ex-public servants, so they have all the training and connections necessary to handle big government contracts. In Australia, Serco have a presence on every military base, run every immigration detention centre, 2 prisons, cross-country trains like the Indian Pacific and the GAN, and they're bidding on more contracts right now, including one to run prisons across New South Wales. So, even if you don't know their name, chances are you're caught in their web. Serco, bringing service to life.
I would say that is highly scary, at least to me. If you don't have nightmares before, this would be the way that they should look like. This is how it's all orchestrated, how it's all connected, and so on. And I want to point out one of my favorites here. It's called crisissolutions.com. So here is a video from their own website and showing us how it's done. They were the ones who had the drill before the Westminster Bridge attack. That's how I found them. I went out and totally exposed them on one international radio. In 2 weeks, it had 280,000 views. That's the most I've ever had. After that, boom, their website went down. Then, when I pointed out and said, is this the behavior of somebody who has nothing to hide? Boom, it came back up. This is the behavior of criminals. They're super criminals. I've had people on location trying to find their office. There's nothing there. There's an address. It's in a highly exclusive area. No signs on the street. No, nothing. And people that are working for them, I mean, very, very suspicious. Okay, so in their own words, please have a look at their own Manchester, Edinburgh, New York, all of them hit. what did they just show us? What they said is we can hit or do simulations, multiple countries, continents at the same time. We've got special departments that are designing the whole thing. They can do the script, they can do whatever you need, a revolution, whatever is needed, a terror act or whatever. The only thing you need to be part as a player is to have internet access. So you can sit on your private island somewhere just with a laptop and a nice pina colada and be part of arranging the whole thing. Then also they can change it in midair. Should somebody like myself put my nose in too deep, boom, we just go for Stockholm instead of Copenhagen. Boom, we redirect, we do whatever. And also they got Twitter feeds, Facebook feeds, all of these news feeds. Why are they making their own news feeds? For whom to watch? The players? No, for us to watch. For us to watch. That's the whole thing. And did you know, I love this one, this strange thing that if you see it, it looks like an octopus every time they have these animations. But it's also 666 that are going together. And I love this one. Crisis solutions. The clue is in the name. What does that mean? Can you see anything? I rest my case. Is their boogeyman, and they're doing it to us. So, I would like to finish with a song that I wrote in, I'm not going to sing, but these lyrics I wrote after having met David Icke in the mid-90s or something like that, where he blew my mind. I'd never heard of him, but within a few hours he put the whole pyramid in place that I couldn't understand. So I really owe him. So it goes like this, and if I read the lyrics, and then maybe you can join me at some point, okay? From prison to paradise. Once upon a time, in a place not far from here, there was so much loneliness, despair, and oh, so much fear. Darkness ruled all over the land. There were lightning in the sky, causing wars and separation, with no one knowing why. These evil times raised leaders disguised as kind and true, hiding the truth in misty fog so only very few people knew, controlled by an elite few, manipulating you and me, closing out the light and power that can make us all be free. If you join me now, wake up, we gotta wake up now. Wake up, we gotta wake up now. That's the thing. This was mid-90s. It's high time to wake up. So, next. Forced by invisible powers, demanded to conform into shapes unknown to mankind, making him totally abnormal. Drowned in debts and sorrows, blaming others for their lot, made man believe to be inferior, feeling tiny like a dot. But then came times of change, covering countries and their towns. Few became many, and soon the prison walls came down. Starting with the men in the mirrors, staring right back into their eyes, understanding that this was a chance to stop those hideous lies. Unhappiness is merely an illusion of misery, based on brainwash and a misconception of true reality. From now on, let's build bridges between our souls and hearts, so we together can rejoice when the final change comes to its start. Wake up, we gotta wake up. Wake up, we gotta wake up now. Turning prison into paradise may seem too much to achieve, but believe me, it only takes one strong spirit to be free. The true power of a pyramid is never ever at the top. Instead, it's we the people that can make this global game stop. Did you get it? Wake up, we gotta wake up now. And that's all for me. Thank you. Thank you. My mother used to say, "Du får mitt hjertevand til at rende."
Thank you. It should be on. It's on now? Okay, thank you very much, Ole.
Thank you.
Again.
I hope it will be the last time.
Yeah.
Let it stop, let it stop.
Everybody hopes it will be the last time. But I only think it's a hope until now. We have a Q&A session, but before Carol, she will go with the mic to the people of you who want to ask questions. But we will also send around this wallet here to support Ole with a little bit of cash. So I hope you have something to spare for him. So who's the first one to ask a question? There's a lady down there.
Yes, I want to ask you, if they are so afraid of the waking up, the people who are waking up, why do they leave all these clues? Why do they leave the clues for where the next terror attack is going to happen? For whom?
I'm not doing it. I can only say my interpretation. And I believe it's because they're even more terrified of the law of karma. But I would say their way of interpreting that law is totally messed up, because I think karma's going to hit them anyway. So it's they might as well give it up. You know, I don't know. There's a lot. Do you know, like, I asked the CIA whistleblower Chip Tatum once. I said, I don't get it. I don't understand why they're doing this. Why are they doing it like this? And he said, the only reason you don't understand is because you're not a psychopathic killer. If you were, this would make total sense. We've got some more questions over there.
Ola, I just wanted, I've been watching the Danish TV, the problems with the groups that are fighting each other, and and I've been thinking, is this a strategy, a tension, in Denmark instead of the bombings? And then I was speaking to a girl one night, and she lived in the northwest. She lives in the northwest of the city where everything's happening. And I asked her, she was terrified to go home. And I said, why are you terrified? She says, all the killings, the shootings. And she said, the fact, I was on my way home, and I was on the bus, and there'd just been a shooting. And I said, did you see it? She said, well, I couldn't see it because there was a bus blocked the street. And then I thought, am I just jumping to conclusions? But I've got this feeling that this bandit conflict is really a terrorist thing from the real intelligence services.
Yeah.
Because suddenly, it's been coming and going, this band conflict, but now it's heightened. Now they're putting the military in the streets because the police don't have enough time to clear up these problems. But now they're putting the police, like in Blågårds Place, there's maybe 6-7 police every day.
Your way of asking questions are incredibly specific, I must say. Not. I could not hear a question there.
No, you couldn't hear a question. I'm just asking, do you think this is something to do with the strategy of tension?
Totally.
Or this...
Totally. It is the one.
Okay.
So well observed, that is it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ole.
Woo.
Thank you, Ole. This is Helge from Norway. This is my third or fourth time here.
If you hold further,
Like this.
that's better.
Okay. You hear me?
Yep.
What about your theory about the Anders Behring Breivik bombing? That led to, the idea that the Norwegian or the Nordic countries should... Like this, okay. What is your theory about this Anders Behring Breivik bombing in Oslo? It's supposed to lead to that we should embrace the Muslim. And now they are doing the opposite. Now everyone hates the Muslims because of all the terror attacks. Do you have an idea what happened there?
Yeah, it's like Anders Behring Breivik, the whole thing that happened in Norway. I've done one presentation here. It's called When Terror Struck Norway some years ago. Please watch that one regarding that thing. When it comes to hating Muslims, divide and conquer is one of the main tools. They want us to hate each other. This doesn't matter if we're green, blue, red, white, whatever, religion, politics, sports, they want us to hate each other so that we do not focus on them. So divide and conquer, everything that is division is part of their, or it gains them. So I say, as part of the solution, as part of our solution, is to start loving each other. To start, walk up to somebody you're afraid of and say, listen, you look very scary. I don't know you. Would you like to have a cup of tea with me or coffee? Because maybe we can sort this out. Because in my mind, you are the enemy. And that person will often say, well, you are in my world. And then you sit down, you talk, and suddenly you find out, my God, we have nothing to fear from each other. They want us fearful. I say, let's love each other. They want divide and conquer. I say, unity. You do selfless act of kindness. Help each other. Look what you can do, how you can use your creativity to raise the energy. And whatever, I thought, I must say, I have to brag a little bit. I've been adopted by the Apache tribe, which I think is amazing. And I did an interview with one of the people there, his name is Shush. And we were talking about anything from body language to you can hear it on my own podcast. It's called Light on Conspiracies. One of the things he said was, when it came to communication, he said, an Apache, by tradition, listens to a conversation and is quiet until he has something that will benefit and lift the energy. I think that is something for us all to learn from. When we have nothing to say that can make a difference for the better, let's be quiet. But let the actions talk as well. It's not... Liking things on Facebook is not enough. We have to really start seeing, how can I do whatever I'm here to do? May that, whatever is your talent, follow what gives you goosebumps and follow that way. Maybe it's to make cookies or whatever, be the best one, but spread love in that way. Go out, give to homeless people, work against this diversion and separation all the time. And unite, in love and compassion. That's the thing. Because they are freaking out, I believe. That is why they're speeding this whole thing up also. Because so many of us are becoming aware of them. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to hide? We have to show them, you have messed up big time. But we will accept you. If you have the balls to step forward and tell us what you've been up to, help us uncover this whole spider web, and stop it, we will consider forgiving you. We will consider embracing you. The sooner you come out, the better. The more you hide, the cooler the response. So this is the time for them to step forward, because it's a matter of time only before it's lynching times. Either we go straight into the New World Order, they succeed, or it's lynching time where they are going to go under. I would say there is an other option where this beautiful man is the way to follow. He showed us, this is one of the most powerful people in the history of the world. He walked around in what looked like diapers. He had a walking stick. He had hardly any teeth. He couldn't see. He had no titles. He had no money. He had no army. And he has affected the world more than anyone else. He managed to get the British Empire out of a country like India. He united India of all chaotic countries. He showed us how to do it. He showed us how to do it. This is the way to go forward. Next.
Your questions short, because probably many people want to ask questions.
Yeah, and I will keep the answers short as well.
I just wanted to give a comment when you spoke about the slogans that were held into people's faces, like "Je suis Charlie." "Je suis Charlie" means "I am an idiot." It's a pejorative term that the French gave the UK soldiers, so they literally made millions of people say, "I am an idiot." And this has been replicated ever since.
I love it. Okay. Je suis an idiot. To a certain extent, hopefully not anymore. They're putting it in our face. They're rubbing our face in it.
Yes. Thank you for a very good presentation. I've been following your work from time to time, and for sure I think that you have been traveling towards the truth, as all of us. We have done a journey. And correct me if I'm wrong, earlier you have told us that in a pod, I think, that from Sandy Hook's and on, they started with faked victims. So I've been looking at Simon Shack's work regarding 9/11, and he have a very detailed victim report that shows that no one died in the 9/11 event as well. And so my question is, what is your opinion today about 9/11? Did any people die? And during Utøya, did any people die on the island?
It's a very good question. I don't know. What I know is that the numbers are totally out of proportion to the truth. The official story does not match up at all in either of these ones. Also, that Sandy Hook was the first one with crisis actors. The more I look back in history, I'm finding more and more. In the Balkan Wars, I mean, they're running around with dummies, stuff like that. I did not see it before. Now, when sort of my eyes has opened, I'm like, what? And this one as well, and this one, I don't know how long they've been doing it, but I know I've been taken for a ride for a long time in many different areas. So I'm unlearning on a daily basis almost. And I would say I would like to give the name or the word brainwash a new meaning, because I think this is what we need. We need a really good cleanse and good rinse of this one, get all of the crap out there, clean it up, brainwash it, so that we're open and seeing more, and also letting the heart start to decide. This one is confusing us, and this is how they get to us with all of this information. We need to start listening to this one. This is the one we're born with a guiding system that knows that if I kick that dog, not right. If I take care of that child, feels good. We have a GPS system in our heart. We're all born with it. Most of us, or some people, have stopped listening to it. I would say, try now on, listen more and more. Every step you can take that is guided by this is a step in the right direction.
Thank you very much for a very good presentation.
Thank you.
Excellent. One question, are you familiar with Raketmassen, the incident here with the submarine?
No.
Okay.
I've heard of it. I have not had time to look into it.
Seems to be a double identity on the woman.
I look at it, I've looked at it superficial, and there's something very strange around it, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Nick? Sorry.
At the recent Charlottesville event, 12th of August, Heather Heyer was the supposed victim. Do you think she really existed? Was she a real character? You've commented on her mother, how she was an actor and had several previous roles. How about this Heather Heyer figure that is supposed to be central to this whole event of, allegedly died?
Nope. I do not believe that she was a real character or a real identity. Most of the time, these things are, the victims are part of the operation. Just like for instance, the police officer that was killed at the Charlie Hebdo thing, where they ran up and shot him. Absolutely not. He's doing fine. He's in Buenos Aires. We tracked him down. He was paid $666,000. That's a bit of a strange number. And he was told to stay down there. He's a Mossad agent. Most of these people have some kind of connection to government, media, film, or theater. And it's the same with the victims. So if her mother for sure was fake, which we have, also it turns out that she was not even hit by the car. She is lying. When you go frame by frame by frame, you will see that she is already in the street lying there when the car passes, not hit by the car. And even her mother, fake mother, says that she died from a heart attack. She didn't die from that. And also the photos that we've shown of her, she was like this. You have video footage of her. She is the size of like this, which is not good for your heart, especially if the car comes attacking. Not good. But the photos we're showing are sort of like a slim image thing. Also, there are very, very strange things with her name and Heather. What's the name of the actor that played the Joker? I'm not going to go into that, but there are very strange things. I've written a chapter now that is going to come in a book published by Jim Fetzer. It's going to be out within a few weeks, which I love. I love this whole thing, that something happens and boom, there's a book. Something happened, boom, within weeks we're down now to where it's the latest book is going to be called Charlottesville something, blah, blah. I don't know the title yet. But it's like all the other books in this series from Moonrock Books. It's like 10 or 15 PhDs, researchers on a very high level that each write their view on the whole thing, put together and get it out there as soon as possible. And then get banned by Amazon, which is not the first time. But yeah.
Just briefly on your comparison with Gandhi, I mean, that was the end of the colonial period. A number of countries got free at the time. So I'm just wondering, you probably know about the research of Professor Andrei Lobachevsky on psychopaths in power. He is the leading science man on this subject. There are a small number of born psychopaths have always been in central positions of power, mostly in the West, as it seems now. So, and there's no chance of offering anything like reconciliation, because they are born in that state, and therefore there's no possibility to persuade them of any other action. There's even research how therapy is done on such people. Even if they seem to have healed from it, in the end, they have just used that knowledge to even more pursue their initial actions. So there's no chance of changing that by a loving attitude, because those people are in a completely different state of mind. And there's a whole branch of research being done about it. It's a whole branch of psychology which is just not officially studied at universities. So I'm always having a problem with this kind of offering love attitude and so on, because it won't work on that level. You can persuade the opportunists which go along, like those policemen that dressing different suits and so on. That's possible, but not the people who are deciding that.
I would like to say that I totally agree with you. I'm going to look into this expert on psychopaths. That is also why I don't hold it against them. It's their nature of them. They don't have compassion. They don't have these things. I'm not trying to change them. I'm trying to change me. The only one I can change, me. I hope I can inspire others you change you in a better way. Because they are not the ones that we persuade. They cannot. What they don't have is they do not have a lot of creativity. They don't have empathy. They don't have these type of things that we have. That's why I'm saying, what makes you tick? What is your creative? What can you help in this whole mess? Use your thing to lift this whole thing up. Because when you look at it, these psychopaths have been needed in tribe worlds and so on. These are the people that just go and take, and it's needed sometimes, but we are at a point now where it's not needed the same way. We've let them take over, and they have put themselves in all the positions where we should be the ones there. There were talk about take back the control. I don't believe in control. I believe in compassion and listen to the heart. As soon as you control, you're in their game, and that is their language. But I also believe that when you lift the energy, the more you lift the energy, the safer you are. I build my life on this. I am surrounded by people, some of them that don't want me well. The more you fill your heart with gratitude and love and compassion, you lift the energy. They want us down there. They want a boot on your head where you are shaking of fear and terror. That's where they can control you. When you're up here, They can't. It's like a virus that needs something to grip onto. If you're totally, they cannot get to you. Or maybe I'm totally wrong and I'm going to be dead tomorrow. I don't know. But up until now, so far so good.
I think with this beautiful end, we want to thank you, Ole, for coming again.
Thank you.
I actually prepared, an introduction with you, but I think you don't need an introduction. So it's the next lecture we have is at 13:30 with Mette Mitchell about the vaccine debate. And now the people who have pre-ordered food can go out in the cafe and all the way to the right, and there they will be handed over their food and deliver the ticket. There are not any extra of this pre-ordered food, but it's possible to buy sandwich or toast or other things in the cafe. So see you again at 13:30.
Thank you.